Hello, this is Michaela or Studious Octopus, and I'm here today doing the GlossyBox catch-up for the November 2017 UK GlossyBox. This was just a regular pink box. I mentioned in my year-long review that I have become a bit uncertain about the service. I'll get into that at the end of the video. First, I am actually going to talk about each of the items in the box, like I usually do. This is what I thought of them now that I've had them for a bit longer, rather than the initial shiny, ooh, what have I got in the box? So first off, we had the Green Frog Botanic Natural Body Wash. Mine was the flavour Relaxing Geranium and Peppermint. I got a travel size, which is still a pretty deluxe size sort of bottle, but there is a bigger full-size version, and this was 100 millilitres and it was worth £3.95. So actually pretty affordable considering it's got lots of sort of nice points, like it's vegan, it's very natural, it's free from lots and lots of things. Like lots of free from products, this is a style of body wash that doesn't really feel like it foams quite as much as maybe something else you would buy, but I actually quite liked it. The only difficulty with the non-foaming is you have to kind of make yourself not use more than you need to, which does always take a little bit getting used to. It feels quite nice on the skin, and I actually personally really like the smell. I like the slightly more unusual smelling things, but I can see why you wouldn't like this and why this wouldn't be for lots of people, but it is a fairly inoffensive natural body wash. It was a fairly not expensive item. It would have been nice with the lower value of the box if we'd gotten the full size version. Next up was the Beauty UK Cosmetics Contour Powder Brush, which is here, which I have had the chance to use a little as well. So for me personally, contouring isn't actually something I do a lot. That's fine, that's just people are into all of their different things, but I have given it a couple of goes. It is actually quite nice that because it's a smaller head brush, but it's still sort of that poofy, soft blending style brush, that it is actually very good at applying product and blending product, but in a very, very specific smaller area, which I think actually has made it really good for contouring. And because it's so soft, it does actually feel like it blends quite well, even though it's quite small. So you get very precise contouring, so your face doesn't just look sort of muddied all over. Putting it in quite a small space, I tend to find, makes it look kind of more natural. And then if you want to blend it out even more after you've put it on with this brush, you can go over with a bigger blending brush and sort of blend it out. I also think, as it sort of says, it's like a contour powder brush. You can use this for other things. I have tried using it a little to apply blush, which works fine because it's a nice small size and it's a nice sort of blending style brush, so that works quite fine. It would obviously be a bit of work to, say, do a full face with it, but you could probably even get away with using this as a foundation brush. It would just be a little small, and there would be other things that it would be more suited to. But for $6.99, which is not the cheapest brush, but isn't by any means an expensive brush, like, I think this is a nice brush. If you're into contouring, I think you'd find this really, really useful. And the quality of the brush seems really nice. The bristles are nice and soft on top where it matters, and it feels good quality. Next up was the Sport FX Lip Balm, which I have been using. Mine looks a little sad now. The design is interesting, but I'm not sure I actually like it any more than a traditional sort of tube style stick. I don't think it really does anything other than perhaps making it look a little bit more unusual, which maybe works. The scent is nice, and I still wouldn't particularly describe it as candy floss, but it's nice and it's sweet. But what I've found over time, over using it, is I feel like it has a kind of funny aftertaste after a while. I don't know if that's just me, because people react to things differently, etc, etc. So it's not always been a super enjoyable experience for me, but it's a nice enough inoffensive lip balm. I don't think I would specifically buy this one again, simply because I don't feel like the foam factor really does anything more for me over being a standard lipstick tube. So there we go, that was the Sport FX lip balm, which was $4.99. Next up was the main disappointment of the box for me, really, and this was the Collection Cosmetics Define Perfect Brow Powder. I've had this before, which bugs me, because if the box is really about beauty discoveries, I shouldn't be getting a duplicate product, like, at all, in my opinion. I saw GlossyBox's response to people commenting on this online and sort of going, well, we gave you this ages and ages ago, so you're getting a refresh, and it's like, that's not why I buy the box, though. It's about new stuff and surprises, and I do like to use it to find things that I wouldn't perhaps buy in the shops, because that sort of feels more like the point to me. So I'm a bit disappointed that I got a product that I have absolutely had before. Besides the point that I didn't really like this product. While I don't particularly mind brow powders, I don't think this sort of strange eyeliner applicator that it has is really the best way to use a brow powder. Which is a shame, because it's like, I feel like they're even not really doing a good service, as it were, to Collection Cosmetics, because I actually quite like Collection Cosmetics. I use their translucent loose powder and a couple of other items. They are a pretty good affordable brand with some items that are quite good. They're not all fantastic, but a lot of the cheaper brands, you'll find that there'll be like a couple of items that are like great to get, but maybe you don't want literally everything. Giving me a repeat brand that I have had before, specifically that I don't like, and that I think quite a few people were a bit unconvinced by, you're kind of making Collection Cosmetics not look so great, in my opinion. And it's nothing to do with them. This will just be GlossyBox getting rid of all of their, leftover brow powders, as far as I can tell, because so many people got them. So yeah, this really absolutely for me, more really than the low value of the box, because I've said before, the value of the box is a subjective thing, because you didn't pay for it. You're not really going to decide that it's worth it as much as if you had paid for it. What matters more if you like the items, if you're going to use the items. And it bothers me more that I got a repeat product than the box being more affordable, because I like the brush and I like the body wash, and I used the lip balm. Like, this bugs me way more. This was £4.19 from Collection Cosmetics, so not actually very expensive. The final item, which I have used as well, is a Boots Ingredients Sheet Face Mask, the Charcoal and Willow Bark Cleansing and Purifying Flavour. These cost £2.50, but as I've also said, they're usually on offer. You can buy 3 for an amount, you can buy 2 for an amount. They'll sometimes be a tiny amount off the retail price. I have used pretty much every flavour of this face mask, and I actually think they're a very good affordable example of a sheet mask. I like that inside is just the sheet mask itself. It doesn't come with lots of extra layers of plastic inside this bag that you're also having to peel off, because that always feels very wasteful to me, even more plastic. And they're just quite a nice experience, and you get a lot of moisturizing goo inside them. I personally prefer the plain hyaluronic flavour that they do. That is my favourite, and if you got one that isn't that flavour, I would recommend you try that one, because that is their sort of general purpose pampering, super moisturising one, whereas admittedly the cleansing one is probably not so suitable if you don't particularly have sort of blemishy skin to need it, and it is the one that sort of feels tingly and cleansing in that way that sort of purifying masks do. Not in a bad way, just in a, like, you can feel it doing its cleansing, which I don't really look for in a mask either, but I still have really liked these masks. And like, that's the thing of, it's affordable, yes, but it's actually a really good mask. If you haven't given these a go, or if you got a flavour that you didn't perhaps like, try one of the other flavours, I would absolutely say. And yes, so the total box value I got was £22.62. Just taking off the brow powder, which is the main disappointment for me, of £4, still makes it £18, which is getting a bit close to the cost of admission, admittedly. Obviously it's nicer when you get higher value boxes, but I still got a little bit of extra value and a little bit of beauty discovery. Other than, genuinely, I think the thing that bugged me most was a repeat brow product. If I'd gotten something else to try, I don't think I would have been as upset. But yeah, I like this. I liked the body wash. I like the brush. The lip balm I wouldn't buy again, but I have definitely been using. So there we go. Now, Why am I feeling like I am a bit less convinced by keeping the GlossyBox service? So, what I have noticed, what other people have possibly noticed, is GlossyBox changed their loyalty reward scheme. You no longer get glossy dots, we now all get Look Fantastic credit. I have felt like I've gotten a lot more emails recently of offers rather than sort of more from third-party companies and advertising at me rather than actually giving me relevant content to the box or to the subscription service. And just a lot of feelings like that of things changing, and then obviously the box values admittedly a couple of times the last month not being fantastic, and what feels like them getting rid of old stock by giving quite a few people repeat items now. A lot of this feels like things are changing in GlossyBox. The problem is that you can look this stuff up and it leads to what I kind of had a niggling suspect, and what other people I know had a niggling suspect of, which is that GlossyBox has been bought out by a separate company. At the tail end of August this year, they were bought out by a company called the Hut Group. And this is for the most part, it's the type of company that specializes in owning other companies, which is absolutely like not unique. It is something that you see all over the place. It owns a giant catalog at this point of other sort of beauty lifestyle things, some of which are actually things that I don't particularly agree with, like weird nutrition powders and supplements, which I don't think are something that anyone should particularly advocate personally. And all of that sort of has that feeling, having known people that work in this sort of the marketing and that sort of business, is that the thing that happens when a business buys another business is there's that immediate feeling of, we can run this better, and how can we get value back from this? So the way I suspect they're going to treat the GlossyBox service is, how can we get the value back off of this? And the Hut Group owns Look Fantastic. That's why they've immediately dropped GlossyBox's loyalty service, and we are now on their already existing loyalty service, because already that's a saving on running a separate loyalty scheme, and they are getting the whole of the catalogue of customers that GlossyBox has, and that's their product really for a buyer. Everybody who subscribes to it is their product. They immediately, everyone is going to go and look at Look Fantastic now and go, I can spend money on that, because of course we want to use our glossy dots. And it all sort of feels like there's that element of, yes, it's only £10 a month, yes, it's a nice beauty discovery and treat, and it's not a big deal on that front, but it's like, I do feel like they possibly had a bit of an obligation to tell everyone a bit more honestly about what was going on. Legally, they don't have any obligation, but it's like, it all feels a bit hidden and cloak and dagger, and they're making all of these decisions, and it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Then on the other hand, because I want to have this awareness of the situation as a whole, it's absolutely seen by a lot of people as a great success for a company to be bought out by another company. That's them being noticed. So yeah, there's lots of feelings of uncomfortableness, because the company at the top that now owns GlossyBox isn't really that interested, I suspect, like most businesses that own other businesses, isn't really interested in what GlossyBox is really doing for its customers. It's interested in having this big portfolio of businesses and a giant amount of customers. They're interested in the money at the end of the day. So yeah, I feel a little, that sort of thing I think is really what's made me uncomfortable, and you can sort of trace it and follow it. As I've also said, I'm going to keep going with the service. I do want to try and give them the benefit of the doubt, because I've had the service now for nearly 4 years. So I just want to see where it goes, what happens in these next few months, if we find the box quality keeps going down, if we still get the same items. Yeah, but I absolutely felt like I wanted to add this to the video. Yes, obviously my personal feelings, my personal opinion are mine, but this is the reality of sort of what has actually happened. Obviously how you react to that is up to you. But for me, it's sort of all made me a bit uncomfortable in continuing with the service. So the next video will probably be the December unboxing, because I am still subscribed, and we'll see where it goes. And at some point I will probably do an empties video. I think I'm due a new empties video, but I will see you again next time. Hello, this is Michaela, or Studious Octopus, and I'm here today doing my long overdue GlossyBox year in review. Yeah,
Hello there, this is Peter.
And this is Michaela.
And we're going to play Soma. So we're going to start a new game.